Hi there, I am Edric Marco C. Florentino, Deputy President of EAROPH International for 2019 to 2020, and I am also a former EAROPH Philippine President for 2014 up to 2018. I would like to share to you the journey of EAROPH Philippines history for the benefit of our new membership. Now, let me give you first a very short introduction of the mother organization, EAROPH. Then, I will be moving on to the history of EAROPH Philippines. Now, to start with, the Eastern Regional Organization for Planning and Human Settlements, better known as EAROPH. And EAROPH covers actually all countries within Asia, Australasia, and the Pacific regions. It was established actually in 1956 during its first Congress held in New Delhi, India. But EAROPH was officially inaugurated during the second EAROPH International Congress held in Tokyo, Japan, and that was in 1960. Eventually, EAROPH gained its recognition as a non-government organization, an NGO status, from the United Nations. Through, of course, the worldwide organization called the International Federation of Housing and Planning, otherwise known as IFHP. EAROPH Secretariat was manned by EAROPH India from the time it was formed until 1978, where it was moved to EAROPH Malaysia and up to the present day. Now, focusing now on EAROPH Philippines section, EAROPH Philippines started its journey in EAROPH before its hosting of the World Congress in 1975 with the theme Planning Human Settlements and Environments for National Development, and that was held in Manila, Philippines. And it was followed by another hosting by EAROPH Philippines section in 1997. But this time, it was the 30th EAROPH Regional Conference with the theme Asset Management for Urban Sustainability and Nation Building. Now, since 1975, some individuals and organizational members of EAROPH Philippines section regularly attended the EAROPH's events after those succeeding years. Now, in 2014, a group started to reactivate the regular general membership meetings and eventually decided to renew its registration at the Security and Exchange Commission. And of course, followed also registration to the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the local government of Quezon City, where the office of EAROPH Philippines is now located. After all the formal and legal documentations were prepared, such as all organizational, general, corporate information, and other organizations' documents and organizations' plan, EAROPH Philippines immediately submitted those to EAROPH International for EAROPH's further reference. And on the same year, with the full support of EAROPH International, the official rebirth of what is presently known now as EAROPH Philippines Incorporated, a non-stock, non-profit organization. The registered incorporators of EAROPH Philippines are the following: Architect Edric Marco C. Florentino, Architect Environmental Planner Yolanda D. Reyes, Architect Environmental Planner Carlo Fundador B. Marudo, Architect Environmental Planner Ana Mangalinling, Architect Environmental Planner Maria Benita O. Regala, Architect Environmental Planner Michael T. Ang, and of course, Architect Environmental Planner Josefina M. Ramos. Architect Edric Marco C. Florentino, myself, became the country president for EAROPH Philippines from calendar year 2014 to calendar year 2018. Well, each year, EAROPH Philippines focused on various aspects of the organization's trust, which deals primarily in promotions, exposures, membership buildings. It also supported its goals, EAROPH's goals, through local and international ties and agreements. I am happy to say that EAROPH International expressed its appreciation to EAROPH Philippines for its comeback, so to speak, to EAROPH's mainstreams of activities, and that once again, the EAROPH Philippines section is very much active. And now, EAROPH Philippines is actively participating in EAROPH's World Congresses and regional conferences by sending in resource speakers, moderators, and a good number of delegations, holding regular activities and membership meetings in the local section and actively representing the section in EAROPH's executive committee meetings and EAROPH council meetings. Now, through these efforts, in 2017, EAROPH Philippines was given the honor of hosting the 50th EAROPH Regional Conference here in Quezon City with the theme Between Vision and Reality, with the subtitle The Path Towards Sustainable City. This regional conference was a success. It was attended by more than 150 attendees, apart from the visitors, observers, partners in the industry, and of course, sponsors, representatives, and staff who were also there supporting this event. It was also the day when a milestone event had occurred during the executive committee meeting hosted by the National Housing Authority, wherein 5 member countries of EAROPH signed a memorandum of understanding with EAROPH Philippines. From then on, membership grew rapidly. Regular general membership meetings were in full pack, I tell you, mostly during UAP conventions. And of course, I wish to thank UAP, for sponsoring this. Of course, we also had other meetings not in UAP conventions. But nevertheless, to UAP, maraming salamat. And in 2018, the very first EAROPH Philippines National Convention was held at Microtel in Quezon City, with the theme Embracing the New Urban Agenda. Live, imprint, sustain. With speakers representing various industries and expertise, who shared relevant topics in support to the new urban agenda. The event has exceeded its expectations and target attendees. It receives an overwhelming praises from the attendees and partners in the industry. The event was graciously hosted by an official representative from EAROPH International and other foreign delegates. In 2019 to 2020, architect environmental planner Ana Mangalino Ling became country president of EAROPH Philippines. During her term of office, she did a lot of firsts. Allow me to narrate them. She led the hosting of the very first planning session of EAROPH International office bearers held here in Tagaytay City, Philippines. As Deputy President of EAROPH International and on behalf of EAROPH office bearers, I would like to thank President Ana for hosting it for us. Another first was she initiated the first out-of-town EAROPH Philippines, second national convention held in Bicol with the theme Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 11, spotlighting Bicol region. It was attended by a good number of delegations with EAROPH International office bearers in attendance in that convention. And in 2020, she led the hosting of the 27th World EAROPH Congress with the theme Healthy, Inclusive, and Sustainable Communities to support families through the pandemic and into the future. This is another first because it was the first virtual World Congress ever experienced by EAROPH International. Now going back, as membership grew in numbers, EAROPH Philippines was able to bring along member delegations during the 2018 World Congress held in Newcastle, Australia. There were 3 Filipino delegates are also part of the resource speakers pool of the said event, and they all received overwhelming praises because of their presentation. During EAROPH's council meeting, EAROPH Philippines pushed to bid for the hosting of one of EAROPH's international gathering called the 2020 World Congress. And EAROPH Philippines unanimously won the bid. Now, during the 51st EAROPH Exco meeting and the 26th EAROPH Council meeting held at Newcastle, Australia, where I was sitting as EAROPH International Deputy President, proud to say that the very first Filipino, to hold that said position, I nominated PRC Commissioner Honorable Yolanda D. Reyes of the Professional Regulations Commission for the position of EAROPH International President. And it was properly seconded by the country president of EAROPH Philippines, no less than architect, environmental planner, Ana Mangalino-Ling. Thus, Honorable Yolanda D. Reyes became the first Filipino woman to be president of EAROPH International for calendar year 2021 and 2022. The official turnover rights was officiated during the 27th World Congress 2020 hosted by EAROPH Philippines. Now let me walk you through before this big event happened. A worldwide obstacle came into the picture called COVID-19 pandemic. And I tell you, the EAROPH 27th World Congress event faced a possible cancellation. But EAROPH Philippines Organizing Committee, led by our World Congress 2020 convener, architect, interior designer, Marian Aileen Star F. Marudo, who was also EAROPH Regional Congresses, convener, and 2 EAROPH Philippine Convention convener, overcame, I should say, the challenges, and with very efficient team with her, it was really a success. They produced a very creative approach by holding this said event virtually through an online platform, thereby making the 27th EAROPH World Congress even possible and the very first EAROPH Virtual Congress and one of its kind. The pandemic may have limited the face-to-face engagements and travels, I should say, for the delegations, but it did not stop EAROPH Philippines and the EAROPH delegations, in hosting the very first EAROPH World Congress virtually. The event came out to be very successful. There were a good number of attendees, beyond expectations. the resource speakers, and the program really went well. The exco and the council meetings were properly conducted and attended, including the turnover rights from President Mia Davidson from EAROPH Australia to President Yolanda D. Reyes, EAROPH Philippines. And I would like to thank you, the organizing team. Of course, a special mention to our ever-creative architect interior designer, Marian Aileen Star F. Marudo, for the effort she has dedicated on all our major events locally and internationally. To date, EAROPH Philippines is one of the active, member countries of EAROPH. And EAROPH Philippines will continue to promote, share, and encourage best practices and solutions to improve the quality of life and its living conditions, which is not limited, of course, to just physical gatherings. Now, EAROPH Philippines believes that the ideas should continue to be shared so that the inspiration may continue to flourish and bring guidance to many individuals and organizations who are focused to planning and human settlements. And I wish to thank you for your time. And I do hope that I was able to bring, justice in sharing to you this beautiful history of EAROPH Philippines from 2014 to 2020. But before I turn off this video, let me state that this is not the end of EAROPH Philippines history, but rather just a kick-off towards a more beautiful and meaningful journey in the years to come. Of course, let's just wait for the next episode or part 2 of EAROPH Philippines history. Well, we, the leaders and members of EAROPH Philippines, are very proud to be part of this great organization. So to everyone, mabuhay ka. At of course, mabuhay ang EAROPH Philippines.